By the way, Cam Thomas, first player in Nets history back-to-back 44 or more points in games. The kid's pretty fun.
Double
And this
thumbs
Nets
up.
team, it's enjoyable. Now, real quickly, we want to discuss the Golden State Warriors. Man,
Dumpster fire.
I'm worried about
What's
Golden
the
State.
leg? What's the exact injury, John?
It is a mouthful, Brandon,
Is
as I'm
it?
trying to exit Streamy so I can actually. So, the exact injury for Steph is partial tears to his superior tibiofibular ligaments and interostosis membrane. Interostosis, I pronounced wrong. And Steph is expected to miss at least the next 5 games after the All-Star break. So I think Steph is going to be out a month. We've already seen him miss a good amount of time this year with the shoulder injury. And the Warriors are a team that's 7-20 on the road. So it's quite clear they desperately need home court advantage. Because if they don't get that, they're going to be playing a team like Denver. Maybe Sacramento would be a gift for them. Or even worse, the Clippers. A team like that in round one. The Mavericks. And if you had to just come out of that just to get to the second round of the playoffs, your road to the finals then becomes infinitely more difficult. And
I
as the
think they're gonna
current
have like
number eight
that.
seed, they're 27-26. Every team in the West is dealing with the same issues. Romain, do you think the Warriors can really survive this Steph injury?
Oh no, not at all. I think they're gonna have that like 2011 Lakers run where you just come up with a championship and just next year is just not the same. Like your best player could be there, but in and out of the lineup and certain things just aren't panning out. Jordan Poole didn't take the jump you needed him to. Yeah, he's scoring more, but his efficiency is like down the tank and he's turning the ball over more. And he has games where he's getting you 30 and 40, but then you have those games where he's getting you 8 and 7. Like he's not consistent. And right now, you're looking at that 2021 draft, and Kuminga and Moody just do not look like the right picks. Yeah, Trey Murphy, Alperen Sengun, Trey Mann, you have, and then with Kuminga, you have Franz Wagner coming right after him. Like it looks like they had all the chips on the table where you expect the team that drafted Draymond Green and Klay Thompson to make the right decisions come in draft time, but you can't hit on everything. They made two wrong picks, and those guys just you want to hope that right now with Klay's injury looking like it's a little bit him taking even steeper decline, Draymond not being Draymond anymore. You'd hope that those guys take a little bit more of a jump, but it looks like you made the wrong picks, and it looks like this is where you got to set. This is where you just. Oh, not to mention James Wiseman is just.
Yeah,
So at this
he
point, I
hasn't
think this is
panned out.
just.
I
Um,
wonder if they
Yeah.
regret not
So
moving them
if
last
I'm
year.
not mistaken, back when they were drafting Steph, Clay, and Draymond, wasn't Jerry West their
He was in the front
GM?
office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and he's
yeah,
not
that's
there anymore.
true.
So
Yeah.
that's really where I think that they're drafting. I mean, listen, those prospects you named, they were good. You expected a 3-and-D wing out of kind of both them, Moody and Kuminga. They haven't panned out, obviously. So yeah, it's going to be a tough ride. For me, I can never count out the Warriors, especially just their track record. So I'm not going to count them out. But it's going to be a much, much tougher ride without Steph Curry for right now.
If this is like 2 years
Yeah.
ago when cut them out, but they just keep getting older. Clay's injuries, and the mileage on his body, he's
I
getting not
mean,
getting
he
any
had
better
a
anymore. At this point, it's just gonna be
all things considered, he had a freaking really good January. I mean,
no. He's having a
he shot
he's having a good year.
46% from the field, 43 from three, 90% from 91% from the free throw line, 27 points. That's pretty good, but
Yeah, no,
it,
he's
it
had a
comes
good.
and
I
goes.
think
It
I
comes
think
and
the
goes.
thing with him is not the. I think he's always going to be able to give you a good 15 to 20 on a consistent basis. He's, in my opinion, the second greatest shooter to ever touch a basketball, right
I agree with that
behind Steph.
100%.
So so right now with him is not the offense is the problem with me, is the fact that defensively he doesn't look anywhere near the same. Like he can't stay in front of it. Like before, he wasn't the box score guy type of defense, but when you watch him, was the one guarding. He was the one guarding Westbrook. He was the one guarding
I
James
agree.
Harden. He's that guy they put on that makes it tough on him. He has really good lateral quickness. He can move his feet. He has a pretty. I think his wingspan is okay. I don't think it's
Yeah.
too long, but
Fundamentally
he has
sound.
normal. Yeah, he's a fundamentally sound defender that can just make it hard on superstars, and it's just not there anymore. You can't replace that with Jordan Poole, who can't guard a cone either. And then you have Kuminga that when he's on the there's times where he looks like a mini Draymond, and then there's other times where he looks like a mini Draymond.
Yeah,
That's now,
I think we're alluding to. I mean, defensively,
which is like he looks like Draymond, and other times he looks like Ben Simmons. He looks like Ben Simmons without the playmaking sometimes, which is crazy. So right now, and Moses Moody, the shooting hasn't been able to keep it up. You expect? I don't. Did you expect him to be a 3-and-D player when he came in the league? I
I
don't think
think
people
I said
expected
I
that.
think
But
that's
even
what
that, the
they
defense
were.
is
I
still
think
bad.
that's what they were expecting him to be. Like if they were hoping, like
Sure.
they
3D.
drafted Moody to be exactly that. I
Yeah,
wonder if the
And
Warriors were.
hindsight's 2020 with James Wiseman.
didn't
Yeah,
work out.
Yeah, that's
Didn't work
a
out.
failed
they
experiment.
they should they should have
They
they
took a
should have.
shot. I mean, they
The
took
thing
what
with
they
James
needed.
Wiseman is
They needed a big man, and they took a shot, and they messed up.
And Wiseman has actually gotten better
this is
defensively.
another like he's a Kwame Brown situation because he didn't play that much in college. You basically drafted a player right out of high school and he just didn't pan out the same. He just didn't pan out.
I don't want to go
He
that
didn't play
far.
that much in college, did he? I'm tripping.
I don't, Romaine. So I don't even know where to begin with the Kwame Brown and James Wiseman. Kwame Brown didn't deal with the injuries James Wiseman did early, and Wiseman has gotten better this year defensively. In this Warriors system, very few bigs can survive. And I think we overlook when a team has championship aspirations and they get the number 2 overall pick, you should be trading that 9 times out of 10, unless the prospect is so good he's too good to pass up. And with James Wiseman, he wasn't that good. But at the time, the Warriors were desperate for a center because Kevin Looney wasn't that durable. Since then, he's has not missed a single game. And unfortunately, Wiseman was so bad so early, they couldn't trade him at that point. The car was already driven off the lot. He had tanked 60% of his value. But I do wonder if the Warriors regret not moving Kuminga and Moody sooner last year because they won a championship in spite of those guys not playing. But now you look at those roster spots and they don't have the IQ, the versatility on both sides of the ball, and quite frankly, the maturity yet to be key fixtures in a rotation where if you fit in this Warriors offense, you're going to be perfect. But if you don't, Steve Kerr's not going to play you. And then it's really hard to get those reps to develop. And the regular season, they're focused on, all right, how can we get the right lineup for the postseason? They're not prioritizing your development. And so for Wiseman to deal with all these injuries, Jonathan Kuminga to be the biggest project player I've seen in the draft at the wing position since Jaylen Brown. And then surely Moses Moody just not panning out so far. The Warriors in a rough spot right now. You won a championship last year, which is good, but you have these 2 timelines, and because you didn't pick one, you're now stuck in the middle.
Yeah, I do think they should have traded a second pick for a team that has championship aspirations, and then you're going to get back Draymond and Clay the next year. Should have traded that second pick easily. I don't know why they didn't, but the 7th
because there's no star available to them. I guess that was the main reason. Who were they going to get with that? Siakam, Sabonis.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what year was that? That was 2020,
2020.
right? Yeah, that was right after the bubble. I don't think free agency was that crazy that year, and I don't think there's too many teams that were sellers at the time. So. Yeah, that was right after the
I'm
Super
not
Team era.
gonna say the jury is out on Golden State. I still believe, much like Brandon, it's kind of hard to just rule this team out. I mean, this is a dynasty. You got Steph, Clay, and you still got Dre there in the fold. And while I get it, they're aging. I could take you back way back to I believe it was 99 and 2000 where the Yankees I think it was 2000 where the Yankees kind of struggled to get into the World Series after just dominating for years before and still found a way to make things happen. And this is kind of how I'm looking at this Warriors team as well. They're 20-6 at home. That's insanely impressive. And while the road numbers are ugly, their road record is very ugly. They're not a team that's being blown out of the water either. This isn't a team being smacked by 15 every night when they are on the road. This is a team that can still play ball, and all they have to do is just weather that ship while Steph is out. And this is
they've also
really
been able
putting
to
those
keep
players
up.
that you guys are mentioning now to the test. These are players that have to step up big time now in replacement for Steph Curry. And while you don't expect them to, replicate his play, you expect them to exceed their own expectations, step up to the plate, and really just help lead this team. Because, this team invested draft capital into these young guys, and now they got to show that their investment was worth it. So I'm not going to rule out this Warriors team because, like I mentioned earlier, the race in the West right now is very tight. The difference between the 3 seed and the 10 seed is what, 3 games?
Those 4 games the Warriors blew a couple weeks ago.
So exactly. So I can't just say, yeah, this Warriors team is completely done for. If Steph comes back well and this team stayed in that, 7 to 9 range, I think they can still make some noise. I mean, worst case scenario that in the playoffs they get matched up with a Denver. You don't want to see that. If you're matched up with anybody from 2 and beyond, Warriors have a chance.
If I'm the Warriors, I'm saying
I want that Memphis.
I want Memphis. Give me Memphis. Let's go, Memphis. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go
I
again.
want Memphis. But the thing, they've been able to weather the storm without Steph this season. I think without Steph, they're close to 500 this season either way. And Jordan Poole as a starter is probably the most consistent he's been all season.
Agreed. Yeah.
But I think what Draymond said earlier in the year is exactly the problem with them too right now, is the fact that when you had somebody else come off the bench, then Jordan Poole, you had to guard the Warriors. They play two different ways when Steph was on the court and off the court. Jordan Poole's so similar to Steph that you're playing the same way, so teams you're not throwing that many different looks at teams, so they can still match up the same way they were doing before. It's just a lot easier to guard them now. So, but I do, and I think this is going to be a test. This is going to be the true test for Steve Kerr's coaching ability, because you don't have the deck stacked anymore. Even last year, Steph still missed a lot. If anything, this team probably would have been the second seed if Steph was able to stay healthy for the full season. So either way, I think this is the first true test he's gonna have with a team that is not overwhelmingly one of the best in the Western Conference, but is still
That's
like in the
predictable.
pack. And if they're coached right, they should be able to give some team a run for their money.